When you use support system, we're talking about different organs in the body that are integrated to aid in what? To aid in giving support to the body. I get me now. The aid in giving support to the body. I get me now. Now, the basic thing or the major constituent or component of the supporting system is the skeletal system. So when you're talking about the supporting system, we're actually specifically talking about the skeletal system. Now, what is the skeletal system? Now, the skeleton is a bony framework that gives rigidity and support to the body. Understand? You can't imagine how you're going to look like. You can't imagine how you're going to look like without a skeleton. Of course, there'll be no support, there'll be no rigidity. I get what I'm saying now. There'll be no support and there won't be rigidity. Now, that's the essence why we said the skeleton is a bony framework. Of course, we know that they are made up of several numerous bones, specifically 206 in a growing child. You get, you have 206 of those bones. You get, so it's a bony framework that gives support to the body. Are we together now? Now we have different kinds of skeleton. We have different kinds of skeletal system found in different organisms. We have the hydroskeleton, we have the endoskeleton, we also have the exoskeleton. All these types of skeleton actually have their different behavioral characteristics and uniqueness. You get, each organism that possesses a particular type of skeleton actually is adapted to perform specific kind of function, and that's why they possess that kind of skeleton. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, now write this down. Write this down. The skeleton is a framework or foundation on which the body is built, and we know that the major function of the skeleton is for rigidity and support, which I already said before. You get. Now that brings us to the types of bones that we have. And the types of skeleton rather that we have. And I said there are 3 types of skeletons. You understand? I said there are 3 types of skeleton. We have the hydroskeleton, we have the exoskeleton, and we have the endoskeleton. Please, if I'm too fast, you can just draw me back. If I'm too fast, you can just quickly draw me back. Now, the hydroskeleton actually constitutes organisms. You understand? This is a system in which the support and rigidity of the body is produced as a result of fluid pressure in the coelom or coelom of the organism. You understand? In the body cavity of the organism, you just have only fluid, no bones. You just have fluid. And who can tell me one organism that possesses this kind of skeleton that we call hydroskeleton? Tell me one kind of organism that possesses an hydroskeletal system. One type of organism that possesses an hydroskeletal system. Huh? Nobody knows it. One kind of organism that possesses an hydroskeletal system. Atom, very correct. Very, very correct, Zena. So your atom, they possess hydroskeletal system. Have you ever thought of this part of your ear before? This part of the ear, that's also hydroskeletal. It's just fluid that creates the support in that region, fluids. So you say an hydroskeletal system is one in which bones are absent, but the turbo pressure of them, the fluid pressure present within the coelom, that is when you're the coelom, some people call it coelom, that is the body cavity of that organism, has the ability to give it the necessary support required by that organism. So quickly write that down. I said, I said that the hydroskeletal system, or should I go the hydro? Some people call it hydrostatic skeleton, please. In fact, that's the correct word. The hydrostatic skeleton. That's what some people call it. So, an hydrostatic skeleton is a skeletal system in which the support, rigidity, and locomotion of the organism is being provided as a result of what? As a result of fluid pressure. As a result of fluid pressure in the coelom, that is E-L-O-M, that's coelom. In the coelom of the organism. Let me say the coelom of the organism. We're talking about the body cavity of the organism. These are important things. Then what are exoskeleton? Okay, someone said I'm too fast. I said that hydrostatic skeleton, which is the first type of skeleton, hydrostatic skeleton the form of skeletal system. Hydrostatic skeleton is a form of skeletal system. Hydrostatic skeleton is a form of skeletal system in which, are we together? In which the locomotion, rigidity, and support in the organism is provided by fluid pressure present within the coelom, that is the body cavity, coelom, C-E-O-L-O-M, within the coelom of the organism. So if you look at atom as an example now, you see that atom just has only fluids present in it, only fluids, no bones. There's no bony landmark or structure in the atom, you get? Okay, now that's that for that one. Let's now move on to go to exoskeleton. Exoskeleton. Who can tell me the meaning of exoskeleton? When we say exoskeleton, what are we talking about? When we say exoskeleton, what are we talking about? When we say exoskeleton, what are we talking about? What is the meaning of exoskeleton? Now, the truth is that the people knows that, okay, you guys know the meaning of exoskeleton, but there are some things that they will not ask you about exoskeleton that you will not be lost. Now, the organism that have or possess exoskeleton, we know that exoskeleton means skeleton that are found outside the body of the organism, from the word exo. These are skeletons that are found outside the body of the organism. Now, why is it that some organisms possess their skeleton outside of their body? What do you think is the adaptive feature for that particular process? So we say exoskeleton, these are skeletons that are externally located on the organism. So what exactly do you think is the reason why organisms possess that exoskeleton? That's what I'm asking. That's my question. The reason is because the organism is trying to prevent or protect itself from dryness. You know, since its skeleton is outside, I get him now, it is actually going to get and be hard for such an organism to be dry. So they are protectors of dryness. You know, and you might find out covering the whole body of the organism, just like the shell in okay, I want you to tell me, give me two examples. Who can give me two examples of organisms that have exoskeleton? Two examples of organisms that has exoskeleton. For hydrostatic skeleton, of course, generally your worms, they possess hydrostatic skeleton. But exoskeleton, aside from insects, because all insects are exoskeletal, aside from insects, can you give me any other organism that possess exoskeleton? Sorry. Well, we have tortoise. Tortoise is number one. Number two, we also have your turtle, then your snail. If you look at the snail, you see that shell is standing as an exoskeleton on the organism. You understand, protecting the outermost organism from dryness. You see that's why the snail, the body of the snail is always very, very, very soft. Why? Because there is protection against dryness from that snail. Same thing happens in the body of your tortoise and the body. So those organisms that possess exoskeleton, they are trying to protect themselves from what? From dryness. You can ask you that, what is the reason, or what is the major adaptive feature for exoskeletal organisms? What are they trying? Why do they possess? Why the organism possess exoskeleton? It's just to protect themselves from what? From dryness. Okay. Let's move on. Yes, all these examples correct. Oyster 2 is one of them. Let's move on. Now, endoskeleton. Of course, endoskeleton are internally found or placed skeleton. And endoskeleton, those are skeletons are found within or inside the body of the organism. You understand now? So they also give rigidity support. They protect vital organs and stuff like that inside the body. Okay, inside the body, you have important organs. So you have endoskeleton. Why? So as for those skeletons to protect some other important organs inside your body. I get it now. For example, when you look at the skull, this skull is not just there for nothing. You get me now. As a craniata, you possess skull and you possess brain. So the skull is a bony landmark. I get it now. That is protecting your what? Your brain. Your rib cage, which is found in this thoracic region, is also a bony landmark that aids in protecting your pleural cavity. Protect your pleural cavity in your mediastinum, which is here where you find your heart. You understand? So it protects your heart and your lungs. That's what I'm trying to say in essence. So can you see that now? So even your pelvic bone protects some pelvic and viscerals that are there. You get some pelvic organs. Understand? So same thing. So basically, we say that you have endoskeletal system just so as to protect the vital organs that are found inside the body of that organism. Okay. Now, what are the examples of organisms that possess endoskeleton? Of course, mammals, we have exoskeleton. Mammals possess exoskeleton. Your fish, which are your fishes, possess endoskeleton. Understand me now? Your amphibians, the majority of them also possess endoskeleton. Now, let's now talk about skeletal materials. Skeletal materials. That's the next subtopic we're going into. Skeletal materials. We have different skeletal materials ranging from chitin, cartilage, and what? Bones. I get me now. Chitin, cartilage, and bones. I'm sure that word chitin, and Professor Poe call it chitin, is not a word you're just hearing for the first time. I get me now. Even when we're doing our biological macromolecule, you came across that as part of the compounds that we said it constitutes or it contains, which is nicotinamide adenine, N-acetyl glucosamine. Remember we said that and we made mention of NAM, N-acetyl acid. Now, those things we said they were in chitin. But basically what you just need from what I'm saying right now is that what? We have skeletal material, right? The skeletal materials. Number one, you have chitin. My mind is failing me. Be looking at the farm for the meantime. We have chitin, we have cartilage, and we have bones. Now, what are chitin? Chitin are what? They are proteinous compounds. Also contains carbohydrate, but they are mainly proteinous. They are proteinous compounds, are you getting me now? That are found in the outermost body of what? Of your exoskeletal organisms, basically. It's your exoskeletal organism that possess chitin or chitin. You get it? Now, this chitin enables this organism to take part in what we call ecdysis. ECDYSIS, ecdysis, or molting, MOULTING. Understand? And this is the process in which an organism sheds off its old skin. Are you getting me now? You see that sometimes a snake can be moving and you just remove its old skin and use a new one and leave that old skin there. You get it? Now, that chitin we are talking about, which is researchable called chitin, is very tough and flexible. Okay, let me repeat myself. I said, let me dictate it in a way you understand. I said, chitin chitin or chitin, this is the major component of the exoskeleton of arthropods. This is the major component of the exoskeleton of what? Of arthropods. Your arthropods, they are the basic organisms that have it. You understand? It's a major skeletal material found in arthropods. I get it now. And we also said that the chitin or chitin is a compound that contains protein. It's a protein containing compound. It is rich in protein. That's what we are trying to say. It also contains carbohydrate anyways and some mineral compound, but necessity and like as a necessity, it is a protein rich compound. Are you getting now? So you can write it there. Chitins, they are protein rich compounds. You get now? And they are similar to that to cellulose. They are actually similar to cellulose. You get what I'm saying now? Are we together? Now, chitin are tough, light, and flexible. They are tough, light, and flexible. Chitin are tough, light, and flexible. This is the 15th time I'm hearing today. They are tough, light, and flexible. Are you with me now? Now, since we said they are tough, light, and flexible, you guys should not worry. Today class, we will just do supporting system and once we are done with it, you are free to go and sleep. But remember that tomorrow you have to finish the slide I sent on biology 03. You understand? I said I was going to ask you questions on those things tomorrow. Okay, we move on. So you said chitin, they are tough, light, and flexible. And I also said that they aid in the process of ecdysis. I'll make sure I get you guys the lecture note of what I'm saying right now. You understand? They aid in the process of ecdysis. And what I say ecdysis is the process of molting, that is shedding off of the skin of an organism. Your ability to shed off the skin of an organism. Your ability to shed off the skin of an organism. Okay, Shubami, I'm talking about your chitin. Chitin, that's your chitin. We finished talking about the types of skeleton, and now we are talking about the. Let me just put it like this. Okay, the spelling of chitin is spelled as CH CHITIN, chitin. CHITIN, chitin. Then CHITIN, chitin. You are correct. Whoever is using that name, Juni, that's the spelling I'm saying. CHITIN. Okay. What is it I should spell? Oh, ecdysis. ECDYSIS. What I said was that chitin aids in chitin aids in for organisms to take part in what we call ecdysis, known as molting. And when we say ecdysis, the spelling is ECDYSIS. Molting is MOULTING. So it all aids in ecdysis and molting. And when you hear the word ecdysis is the process whereby an organism is given an ability to molt or to shed off its old skin. Just imagine we as humans, maybe when the skin just gets dirty like this, you just shed it off. Understand? That's as a result of the chitin in you. You get? But organisms that actually take part in this are mostly your arthropods, because they are the one that contains this chitin compound that is rich in protein. Remember, I said they're rich in protein. So we talked about the first skeletal material, which is chitin. We're going to the second skeletal material, which is cartilage. Cartilage. Now, what are cartilage? Cartilage are tough elastic tissues that has neither blood vessels. You understand? They don't have blood vessels. That's what I'm trying to say. So they have neither blood vessels nor nerves. They have neither blood vessels nor nerves. Have you written that down? So we said, let me just repeat it again. I said that cartilage, they are tough elastic tissues that have neither blood vessels nor nerves, meaning that they are not innervated. When we say something not innervated, they are not supplied with nerve cords. Are you getting me now? And also are not supplied with blood vessels. That's what we mean by the tough elastic tissue that neither contain blood vessels or nerves. Good. Now, the main function of cartilage, there are 4 functions of cartilage, and you must know them because they can ask you to mention the 4 functions of cartilage. Now, the first function of cartilage is to avoid or prevent friction between 2 bones. You can write it down. Cartilage aids to prevent friction between 2 bones. We've talked about chitin. Chitin aids in ecdysis, that's shedding off. You can go and check it, you see it snakes the ecdytes, even snakes ecdytes too, and insects. All your arthropods, they are the major compound organisms that take part in that. Now, we are talking about cartilage now. We say that they are tough, elastic tissues that has neither blood vessels nor nerves. Understand? And we said the main functions of your cartilage. Understand? The main function of your cartilage, number 1, is to prevent friction between 2 bones. It prevents friction between 2 bones. Number 2, it acts as a shock absorber. It acts as a shock absorber. You understand? It prevents friction between 2 bones. That is when 2 bones are in motion, or you getting me, contact in motion. Your cartilage will aid to prevent friction. You actually find cartilage in between 2 bones. You see them as a demarcation between bones and bones. You get? That's where you find this cartilage. You understand? You find them there, trying to act as shock absorber and also prevent what? Friction between the 2 bones. Then another important function of this is that they support the protruding part of the nose and ear. You get? You see this protruding part of the bone and ear. This place here is made of cartilage. Hope you know. It's cartilaginous. And this place too, made of cartilage. So that's why we said it supports protruding part of the ear and the nose, because you can actually mention 2 areas of the body where you find cartilage. Of course, I just mentioned ear and nose. Now, they also form a major component of the trachea and bronchi, and I'll explain that to you now. Hold on, let me just get the marker. Okay. Yeah, I'm back. Where is the wiper? Now, if you look here, if you push your attention to this place now, you know, I just said something now. And there are 2 things. There's one thing I said that I actually want to show you. I said that they aid as what? They aid in forming major components of the trachea and bronchi. Now, you know, your trachea runs like this. Okay? Your trachea runs this way. Your trachea runs this way. From your nasal region. You see it running like this. Then it now divides into 2 parts, which are your bronchi. Along the trachea, you have rings there. And they can ask you this question: what are the function of these rings? You have rings. Have you seen that now? Now, this is the trachea. The trachea splits into 2 bronchi. Now, these rings here, they can ask you what are the function of the rings in the trachea. They are cartilaginous rings that prevent the trachea from collapsing. So they hold the walls of the trachea and make sure that the trachea does not collapse. So they keep it stretched. Are you getting me now? And help it to retain the shape. Are you getting what I'm saying now? So we said they form major components of the trachea and bronchi. And this is all the spelling of trachea. Let me wipe out this part of the board. I can utilize this part of the board. You get it? This is spelling of tracker, and this is spelling of bronchi. So the aid is what? The aid is forming major part of the trachea and the bronchi. Are we clear now? Now, okay. Now, the bones is the next one we're going to be talking about. We've talked about the chitin. We talk about the chitin. Are you getting me now? CHITIN. Talk about the chitin. We also talked about the cartilage, which are the major distinct. We said chitin, cartilage. Talk about chitin. We talked about the cartilage, and we also talked about. We won't talk about the last one, which is the bones. You know, we're talking about the skeletal materials. That's what we're talking about now, skeletal materials. So we won't talk about the bones. Okay, someone said, what is the fourth use of cartilage? Let me mention them again. The fourth use of cartilage, we said, prevent frictions between two bones. Prevent, number one, prevent friction between two bones. Prevent friction between two bones. The second one is that it acts as a shock absorber. Shock absorber. The third one that we talked about is that it supports the protruding part of the nose and the ear. Supports protruding parts. When you say protruding part, those parts that are coming out, like the part that are extensions, the extensive parts. Support protruding parts of what? Of nose and ear. Support protruding part of nose and ear. I don't know if that's clear enough. And my handwriting looking like grease handwriting here. Then the last thing I now talked about is what I just finished talking about. It supports the trachea and the bronchi. It enables them to what? To prevent them from collapsing. So we say they form major component of the trachea and the bronchi, preventing them from what? From collapsing. Are you getting me now? So these are trachea rings, the rings, cartilaginous rings on the trachea, this ones are on the bronchi. Are you getting me now? So this you can write it down. It's now this one that will divide into bronchioles. You have your lungs, you get. So in our respiration, when we're talking about respiration, we look at that in deep knowledge. So number 4, I said number 4, it's what forms major component of the trachea, forms major component of the trachea and the bronchi, preventing the collapsing of the trachea. Preventing the collapsing of the trachea. Are you getting it now? Now, we want to talk about bones. We want to talk about bones. Yes. We want to talk about bones. Now, what are bones? Now, if I may ask you now, between the bones and the cartilage, which one is stronger? Between the bones and cartilage, which one is stronger? You can write your answer there, I will respond to it. Between bones and cartilage, which is stronger? Are your bones stronger than your cartilage, or cartilage stronger than your bones? Man, I'll be so disappointed if anybody should say that the cartilage is stronger than the bone. That would be so shocking to hear. Because even during the process of ossification, some bones will ossify to form cartilage. Some bones will even ossify to form cartilage. Are we getting it? Now, so what am I trying to say in essence? Right. The bones consist of Your bones consist of gelatinous and inorganic materials. The bone consists of gelatinous, that is what gelatinous. We're talking about something in jelly-like form. We're talking about, when we say gelatinous, we're saying gelatinous. Now is it there? Gelatinous. So gelatinous, inorganic gelatinous, and what? And that's organic gelatinous and inorganic materials. What are the examples of the major inorganic materials you find in the bone? Phosphorus, calcium, and magnesium. Those are the important constituents of the bone. Please write it down. Those are the major inorganic materials you find in the bone. Magnesium, phosphorus, and calcium. So we said the bones. It consists of organic, gelatinous, and inorganic in brackets, magnesium, phosphorus, calcium. Someone say I slow down. Let me repeat it again. I said the bones consist of organic, gelatinous. You know one thing? So, and I'm not giving you the lecture notes for you to write again. If you want to write, write. If you want to write the lecture note again, write. But you can just have it so that you know, okay, anytime you want to read it, you open your phone, you read it from your phone again. Get, life is very easy. So I said it consists of organic, gelatinous, and inorganic in brackets, magnesium, phosphorus, calcium, brackets close, brackets close. Are we together? Materials. So the inorganic materials are the ones I mentioned just now. So you can be asked which of the following is an important inorganic material. I get me now. It's an important inorganic material for bones. I get me now. So you should know that you must mention what you must be able to mention your. You must be able to mention the fact that your system is a part of it. Magnesium, calcium, and this thing is part of it. I want to just balance this. Oh, how would you like that? Where are we now? So we've talked about bones. And I said bones are strong. Bones are stronger than cartilage. That's a very, very, very important fact. Fact, you are joining a biology class. Are you done with all the? You are less busy. Okay. So your bones are stronger than your cartilage, of course. Even some cartilage, I get me. They develop into bones. Some cartilage develop to form bones. I get me now. Okay. Now, the shape and I get me now, and they perform variable functions like structured in the way that it will aid manipulation compared to that of the feet. I get it now. If you look at the bones in your feet, you observe that you can't use your feet to do this. It's impossible. You can't even try it. Do your feet, let your feet, as your feet is like this on the floor. I get me now. Use it and do like this. It will work. Fold it back, fold your feet like this, let it like this. It will work. I get it now. That's because that shows you that bones along every position don't necessarily perform exactly the same function. They have general function of support, locomotion, and rigidity. but they don't have specific functions. I get it now. For example, now there are some bones that you have in the ear. The malleus. Okay, who can tell me the bones that we have in the ear? We have 3 bones in the ear. Who can tell me? Who can tell me? That shows us that even bones have variational size. The smallest bones in the body are found in the ear. You can be asked. The smallest bones in the body are found in the ear. And what are their names? There are 3. Stapes, malleus. Your stapes is S-T-A-P-E-S. Stapes. Then you have your malleus, M-A-L-L. Okay, somebody is saying ossicles. And you can do that things that form it. Your stapes, your malleus, and your incus. Is I-N-C-U-S, malleus is M-A-L-L-E-U-S, and stapes S-T-A-P-E-S. That's exactly what it's made up of. We now want to talk about the mammalian skeleton. We want to talk about the mammalian skeleton. Now, your skeleton comprises of what, and what? In the head, what's the bone we find in this part of the head? What's the name of that bone? Who can tell me what's the name of the bone of the head? The bone of the head is called the skull. Okay, you are correct. Whoever is using the name C, you are correct. I don't know why people can't use your real names. You get skull. And what's the other name for skull? Cranium. C-R-A rather. C-R-A-N-I-U-M. Cranium. That's another name for skull. Skull. Now we have 2 forms of skeleton. Like your skeleton is divided into 2 compartments. In a human being, the skeleton are divided into what? 2 compartments. And what are they? We have the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. Let me get a picture of skeleton on my laptop here so that I can show you guys, be able to visualize it better. Let's see. I want to get a very, 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 very complex picture for it. All right. Okay, I see a very wonderful picture here. So let's move on. When we get to where we need the picture, I'll show it to you. Now, the picture actually looks like the skeleton of somebody we call Tolu. Because I don't have any other specimen to use as skeleton, so except from her. And her skeleton looks very good. Yeah, so the skeleton is divided into 2 parts. Are you getting me now? The axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. You can write that down. Your skeleton comprises of 2 compartments or 2 parts, which is your axial skeleton and your appendicular skeleton. Your axial skeleton is that skeleton that runs along the midline of the body. So from your head, the bones of your head, are you getting me now? Along your vertebrae, as a vertebral column, are you getting me? Your sternum that is here, your ribs, are you getting me now? Those are what forms the axial skeleton. I'll repeat it again. The bones of the head running down through your vertebral column at the back, then your sternum at the front. You know, this bone here is called the sternum. Are you getting me now? Then your ribs. Those are what? Okay, let me repeat it. I said we have 2 types of skeleton, which are the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. Guys, not 2 types. If they ask for types, you're talking about hydrostatic, exoskeleton, endoskeleton. This one now is that the skeleton is divided into different compartments. I get me, and it's 2 compartments. So you can say the skeleton are of 2 forms, or they are divided into 2 parts. I get me. Now, what are those parts? We have your appendicular skeleton here. This marker is dead. Your appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton. And we also have your axial skeleton. There are 2 types of skeleton that we have. As you can see, this is it. your axial skeleton, and your appendicular skeleton. Now, I said your axial skeleton, they can ask you, they might ask you, write about the forms of skeleton or the division or compartment of skeleton that we have. So your axial skeleton is that part of the skeleton that comprises of the head. Are you getting me now? It comprises of the head. This is your head. It comprises of the skull, rather, we are measuring the bone. Comprises of your skull, which runs down through your vertebral column at your back, then your sternum at the anterior region, which is at the front, to the ribs. I get it now. That's what comprise your axial skeleton. Why your extensions, like your hand and your legs, I get it now, forms the appendicular skeleton. Let me repeat it again. I said that your vertebral column, which is at the posterior side of the body, that is the back, your from your thigh to your leg. You understand? So from your waist downwards is part of your appendicular skeleton, and from your shoulder outwards is part of your appendicular skeleton. And we'll be exploring them very soon, because those skeletons are like the appendicular skeleton. We can divide the appendicular skeleton into two parts: the hinge limb and the forelimb. The hand forms the forelimb, then your feet, your thigh region, your lower extremities, the hinge limb. Okay, now let me show you the picture I just got now. I told you it looks like Tulu, and I believe you guys believe me. If you don't believe me, that means I don't know who you want to believe next. So we want to be exploring the diagram of the skeleton. Please, let's first write what I said before. Write this down. The axial skeleton is made up of the skull. The axial skeleton is made up of the skull, comma, the vertebral columns, which runs at the back, is called the vertebral columns. Then, comma, the breastbone, which is called the sternum. The breastbone, which is called the sternum. Some of you are just disconnecting and joining back. What happened is your data on your network. The breastbone, which is called the sternum. Then the ribs. The ribs. Those are what we call the. Those are what form the exoskeleton. But your appendicular. The appendicular, okay, let's talk about, sorry. Then your appendicular skeleton is made up of the pectoral and pelvic girdle and the fore and hind limbs. Write it down. Your pectoral and pelvic girdle. The pectoral girdle is this girdle is here. This pectoral girdle, which is formed by your scapula, the bone, the triangular bone at your back. You get from your shoulder region, is triangular bone. That's your pectoral girdle. You understand? And you have your pelvic girdle, which you find in your abdominal region. Now, let me tell you something. Anything time you get girdle aid in connecting your appendicular skeleton to your axial skeleton. Now, my girdle is here. It connects my hand, my arm here to where? To my axial skeleton, which is in this side. So it's connecting the appendicular skeleton to the what? To the axial skeleton. So this one is the pectoral girdle. So the pectoral girdle connects your what? Your forearm to what? To your axial skeleton. While the pelvic girdle, which is in this region here, connects your what? Connects your thigh and leg to your what? To your axial skeleton. And when you say your thigh and leg, that is your what? Your hind limb. Connect your hind limb to that side. Now let's explore the bony structure. Now, focusing on the diagram you're seeing now in front of you. Focusing now on the diagram you're seeing now, right now in front of you. Just focus on it. Good. Now, look at this. This is the skull, as you can see. This is the skull. You get? And this space in the eye region is called the orbit. Be fixed. and of course, this is the lower jaw. Now, what I want to just show you now is looking at it from here, running from here like this downwards. This is your sternum. I get me. This is xiphoid. As you go further in sternum. Now,